Poor young man returns a lost wallet without knowing it belonged to Warren Buffett. The next day, he receives a $1 million surprise. Nathan Carter wiped the sweat from his forehead as he finished his late-night shift at Giuseppe's, a small Italian restaurant in downtown Omaha. The winter wind bit through his thin jacket as he walked home, his mind occupied with unpaid bills and his deferred dream of attending business school. At 22, he felt stuck in an endless cycle of minimum wage work and mounting responsibilities. His mother's voice echoed in his head. "Character is worth more than gold, Nathan." She had raised him alone, working multiple jobs to keep food on the table. Now, with her health declining, the burden fell on him to make ends meet. The streetlights cast long shadows on the empty sidewalk as Nathan trudged home. Something caught his eye, a leather wallet lying near a parking meter. He picked it up, feeling the expensive material between his fingers. Opening it, he found several credit cards, documents, and a thick wad of cash. But what made his heart skip a beat was the name on the ID, Warren Buffett. Nathan stood frozen, staring at the wallet. The cash alone could cover his mother's medical bills for months. No one would know, but deep down, he knew what he had to do. Without hesitation, he pocketed the wallet, determined to return it first thing in the morning. Chapter 2. The unexpected meeting. The next morning, Nathan arrived at the address listed on the ID. A massive iron gate guarded an elegant mansion. His hands trembled slightly as he pressed the intercom button. A security guard appeared, eyeing him suspiciously. "I found Mr. Buffett's wallet," Nathan said simply, handing it over. Without waiting for a response or reward, he turned and walked away, heading straight to his shift at the restaurant. The day proceeded normally until a well-dressed man in an expensive suit entered the restaurant, flanked by 2 security guards. The manager rushed to greet them, but the man walked directly to Nathan, who was balancing plates of pasta. "Mr. Carter," the man said, his voice crisp and professional. "I'm James Morton, Mr. Buffett's personal assistant. He would like to see you." Now Nathan's colleagues watched in amazement as he removed his apron and followed the men outside. A sleek black Mercedes waited at the curb. During the drive, Nathan's mind raced with possibilities. He had just returned a wallet. Why would one of the world's wealthiest men want to see him? The car pulled up to the mansion he'd visited that morning. This time, instead of stopping at the gate, they drove through to the main entrance. Nathan was led through marble hallways to an elegant office where Warren Buffett himself sat behind a massive desk, studying him with keen interest. "Please, sit down," Buffett said, gesturing to a leather chair. "You know, you could have kept the money. No one would have known." He paused, watching Nathan carefully. "But you chose honesty. That interests me more than any amount of money." Nathan shifted nervously in his seat, unsure how to respond to Warren Buffett's statement. The billionaire's piercing gaze seemed to look right through him, as if assessing his very character. "Thank you, sir," Nathan finally managed, his voice barely above a whisper. It was the right thing to do. Buffett nodded, a slight smile playing on his lips. He reached into his desk drawer and pulled out a crisp white envelope, sliding it across the polished mahogany surface. "Inside this envelope is a check," Buffett explained, his tone casual as if discussing the weather. "I want to see what you do with it." With trembling hands, Nathan opened the envelope. His eyes widened and he felt the room begin to spin. The check was made out to him for $1 million. "Mr. Buffett, I don't understand," Nathan stammered, looking up at the billionaire in confusion. "This isn't a gift, Nathan," Buffett clarified, leaning forward. "It's a test. I want to see what an honest young man like you does with this kind of money. Invest it, create something, do good, or blow it all in a month. The choice is entirely yours." Nathan felt the weight of the check in his hands, along with the immense responsibility it represented. He had never held more than a few $100s in his bank account. What would he do with $1 million? "Why me?" Nathan asked, still struggling to process the situation. Buffett's eyes twinkled. "Because sometimes character is the best investment one can make. You've shown yours. Now show me what else you can do." As Nathan left Buffett's mansion, his mind was a whirlwind of thoughts and emotions. The check felt like it was burning a hole in his pocket. He walked for hours, barely noticing the cold as he grappled with the enormity of his situation. Back in his small apartment, Nathan stared at the check on his kitchen table. He could pay off his mother's medical bills, quit his job, and finally attend business school. But was that enough? Buffett had given him this opportunity for a reason. Over the next few days, Nathan acted with caution. He deposited the check but didn't touch the money immediately. Instead, he threw himself into research, spending every free moment studying the financial markets, investment strategies, and business principles. He paid off his mother's debts and enrolled in an online business administration course, but the bulk of the money remained untouched as Nathan pored over financial reports and market analyses. Offers and opportunities began to flood in as word spread of his windfall. Old acquaintances resurfaced, pitching get-rich-quick schemes. Financial advisors appeared, promising to double his money. Nathan politely declined them all, trusting his instincts and the lessons he was learning. 1 month after receiving the check, Nathan's phone rang. It was James Morton, Buffett's assistant. "Mr. Buffett would like to see you again," Morton said. "Tomorrow morning, if possible?" Nathan agreed, his heart racing. The moment of truth had arrived. As he prepared for bed that night, he looked at his bank statement one last time. Most of the $1 million was still there, carefully allocated into various investments and a fund he had created for young entrepreneurs like himself. He fell asleep wondering if he had made the right choices and what Warren Buffett would say when he learned how Nathan had handled his unexpected wealth. Nathan arrived at Buffett's mansion the next morning, his palms sweaty and his heart racing. He was led to the same elegant office where Buffett sat waiting, a curious expression on his face. "Welcome back, Nathan," Buffett said, gesturing for him to sit. "I hope this past month has been educational." Nathan nodded, trying to keep his voice steady. "It certainly has, Mr. Buffett." Buffett leaned forward, his eyes twinkling with interest. "So tell me, what did you do with the money?" Taking a deep breath, Nathan began to explain. "I still have most of it, sir. I paid off my mother's medical bills and enrolled in a business administration course, but the majority I've invested." Buffett raised an eyebrow, encouraging Nathan to continue. "I've put money into several local small businesses that showed promise but needed capital. And I've created a fund for young entrepreneurs who, like me, just need a chance." For a moment, Buffett was silent, studying Nathan intently. Then a slow smile spread across his face. "Now that," he said, "is interesting. You've done more than I expected, Nathan. You didn't just think about yourself, you thought about creating opportunities for others." Nathan felt a wave of relief wash over him. "I figured that's what you would do, sir." Buffett chuckled. "Perhaps. But the important thing is, it's what you chose to do. And that makes all the difference." Chapter 6. The apprentice Buffett stood up and walked to a large screen on the wall. With a touch, it came to life, displaying an array of financial charts and real-time market data. "How would you like to learn more, Nathan?" Buffett asked, turning back to face him. "Not just from books and online courses, but from real experience." Nathan's eyes widened. "Are you offering me a job, Mr. Buffett?" "I'm offering you an apprenticeship," Buffett clarified. "Work with me for a while. We'll see if you have real talent or if your initial decisions were just beginner's luck." Nathan couldn't believe his ears. From a waiter to an apprentice of one of the world's greatest investors in just a month, it seemed impossible. I don't know what to say, sir," Nathan stammered. Buffett's expression turned serious. "Say yes, but understand this. It won't be easy. I'll push you harder than you've ever been pushed. You'll face challenges that will make you question everything you think you know. Are you ready for that?" Nathan stood up, his determination evident in his posture. "Yes, sir, I'm ready." Buffett nodded approvingly. "Good, we start now." Over the next few months, Nathan's life transformed completely. He attended high-level meetings, analyzed business proposals, and even began to suggest small investment strategies. The pressure was immense, but Nathan thrived on the challenge. His first major test came when a promising investment started to go wrong. A company Nathan had recommended putting a significant amount of money into entered a crisis. If he didn't act fast, they stood to lose everything. Buffett watched Nathan's reaction closely, offering no advice. Nathan felt panic rising in his chest, but he forced himself to stay calm. He trusted the company's fundamentals and decided to hold the investment instead of selling in a panic. 2 weeks later, the company recovered and their stock price soared. Nathan had not only avoided a loss, but doubled their initial investment. Buffett slowly clapped his hands. "Congratulations, Nathan. You passed the test." But as Nathan was learning, in the world of high finance, one test was never the end. It was always just the beginning. As months turned into a year, Nathan felt he had finally found his purpose. He had not only learned about investments, but also about long-term vision and resilience. His initial million had grown substantially under Buffett's guidance, and he had developed a reputation as a rising star in the financial world. One evening, Buffett invited Nathan to a private dinner at his home. As they enjoyed a simple meal of hamburgers, Buffett's favorite, the billionaire, posed an unexpected question. "Nathan, what do you want to do with your life now?" Nathan paused, caught off guard. "I'm not sure I understand, Mr. Buffett. I thought I was doing it learning from you, becoming an investor." Buffett smiled kindly. "You've done exceptionally well, better than I could have hoped, but now you face a choice. You can continue here, grow, and become one of the country's top investors. Or," he paused, studying Nathan's reaction, "you can take your money, your experience, and create something of your own." Nathan felt his heart race. The idea of striking out on his own both thrilled and terrified him. Working alongside Buffett was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. But he also remembered his humble beginnings and his desire to help young people like himself who never had a chance. "I need some time to think about it," Nathan said finally. Buffett nodded approvingly. "Take all the time you need, but remember, the most important investment decisions are rarely about numbers alone." As Nathan left Buffett's house that night, his mind was a whirlwind of possibilities and doubts. A week after his dinner with Buffett, Nathan found himself facing an unexpected challenge. Richard Langley, a smooth-talking businessman known for his aggressive tactics, approached Nathan at a charity gala. "Nathan Carter, the wunderkind of Wall Street," Langley said, his smile not quite reaching his eyes. "I've been watching your rise. Impressive." "Thank you, Mr. Langley," Nathan replied cautiously, aware of the man's reputation. Langley leaned in close, lowering his voice. "I have a proposition for you, a guaranteed investment opportunity. The returns are astronomical." Nathan's instincts flared. "Guaranteed returns. That sounds too good to be true." Langley chuckled. "Oh, it's true, all right. The big players in Wall Street do this all the time. It's just not advertised widely, if you catch my drift." As Langley outlined the scheme, Nathan felt a chill run down his spine. It was clearly fraudulent, designed to make a fortune by manipulating smaller companies and costing hundreds of people their jobs. "Think about it," Langley urged. "This could multiply your wealth tenfold in months. Isn't that why you're in this game?" Nathan excused himself, his mind reeling. The offer was tempting a shortcut to immense wealth, but as he dug deeper over the next few days, he uncovered the full extent of the scheme's potential damage. He thought back to his mother's words about character, to the trust Buffett had placed in him, and to his own dreams of helping others. The decision he would make now would define not just his career, but his entire life. With a deep breath, Nathan picked up his phone. It was time to talk to Buffett again, but this time he knew exactly what he wanted to do. Nathan sat across from Warren Buffett in the now familiar office, his resolve firm despite the butterflies in his stomach. Buffett listened intently as Nathan recounted his encounter with Langley and the fraudulent scheme. "I see," Buffett said when Nathan finished. "And what do you intend to do about it?" Nathan took a deep breath. "I want to report Langley's scheme to the proper authorities. But more than that, I've made a decision about my future." Buffett leaned forward, his eyes twinkling with interest. "I want to create an investment fund," Nathan continued, his voice growing stronger. "But not just any fund. I want to focus on helping young entrepreneurs without resources. People with talent and drive who just need an opportunity, like I did." A slow smile spread across Buffett's face. "I had a feeling you might choose something like this. You did?" Nathan asked, surprised. Buffett nodded. You've always shown a desire to give back, to create opportunities for others. It's one of the reasons I chose to mentor you. The billionaire reached into his desk drawer and pulled out a document. He signed it with a flourish and handed it to Nathan. It was a check for $50 million. Consider this my first investment in your new fund, Buffett said. Now go and change the world. Nathan felt tears welling up in his eyes. Mr. Buffett, I don't know how to thank you. Thank me by succeeding, Buffett replied, and by never forgetting why you started this journey in the first place. As Nathan left the office, he felt a mix of excitement and trepidation. His real journey was just beginning. Over the next 5 years, Nathan Carter became a name to reckon with in the business world. His investment fund, which he named New Horizons, helped hundreds of young entrepreneurs turn their ideas into reality. He became a symbol of how honesty and hard work could still pave the way to success. Nathan never forgot his roots. He established scholarship programs for underprivileged students and mentorship initiatives for aspiring entrepreneurs. His fund's success allowed him to expand its reach, creating jobs and opportunities across the country. One day, as Nathan was reviewing applications for the fund's latest investment round, he received an unexpected call. It was James Morton, Buffett's assistant. Mr. Buffett would like to see you, Morton said. He says it's important. Concerned, Nathan rushed to Buffett's office. He found the billionaire watching a news report with a grim expression. On the screen was Richard Langley, being led away in handcuffs. The scheme finally unraveled, Buffett said, turning to Nathan. Your report to the SEC 2 years ago was the first domino to fall. They're calling you to testify. Nathan nodded solemnly. I'll do whatever is necessary to ensure justice is served. Buffett studied him for a moment. You know, when I first met you, I saw potential, but you've exceeded even my highest expectations, Nathan. You didn't just build wealth. You built integrity into the very foundation of your success. Nathan felt a lump in his throat. I had a good teacher, he said softly. Buffett chuckled. Perhaps, but the choices were always yours, and you made the right ones, even when it was difficult. As Nathan left Buffett's office that day, he realized that his journey had come full circle. From a struggling waiter to a respected investor and philanthropist, he had transformed not just his own life, but the lives of countless others. And it all started with a simple choice to do the right thing. The courthouse buzzed with anticipation as Nathan took the stand. His testimony in the Langley case had become one of the most anticipated moments in the financial world. Cameras flashed and reporters scribbled furiously as he was sworn in. Mr. Carter, the prosecutor began, can you tell the court about your interaction with Mr. Langley and the scheme he proposed? Nathan took a deep breath, his voice steady as he recounted the events. He described Langley's approach, the details of the fraudulent scheme, and his decision to report it to the authorities. And why did you choose to report this, Mr. Carter? The prosecutor asked. Nathan's eyes scanned the courtroom, landing briefly on Warren Buffett, who sat in the back, watching intently. Because it was wrong, Nathan said simply. It would have ruined lives, destroyed companies, and eroded the trust that's fundamental to our financial system. I couldn't be part of that. During cross-examination, Langley's defense attorney tried to paint Nathan as an opportunist, suggesting he had reported the scheme only to gain favor with Buffett. Mr. Carter, isn't it true that you owe your success to Mr. Buffett's mentorship? The attorney pressed. Nathan nodded. Mr. Buffett has been an invaluable mentor, it's true. But he taught me more than just how to make money. He reinforced the values my mother instilled in me. Honesty, integrity, and the importance of doing what's right even when it's difficult. As Nathan stepped down from the witness stand, he felt a weight lift from his shoulders. He had told the truth regardless of the consequences. Outside the courthouse, a throng of reporters awaited. One shouted above the others, Mr. Carter, did you know about the full extent of Langley's fraud when you first encountered it? Nathan paused, then answered clearly, yes, and I chose not to participate. In the weeks following the trial, Nathan's testimony became a rallying cry for ethical business practices. Young entrepreneurs and seasoned investors alike looked to him as an example of success achieved through integrity. New Horizons Fund experienced a surge of interest, with more established investors. wanting to be part of what Nathan was building. But he remained committed to his original mission, helping young, talented individuals who just needed a chance. One evening, as Nathan was working late in his office, he received an unexpected visitor. It was Sarah, a young woman whose tech startup had been one of New Horizons' first investments. "I hope I'm not interrupting," she said, smiling shyly. "Not at all," Nathan replied, gesturing for her to sit. "How can I help you?" Sarah took a deep breath. "I wanted to thank you personally. Your investment didn't just fund my company, it changed my life. And now, we're in a position to give back." She handed Nathan a document. It was a pledge to create a scholarship fund for underprivileged students interested in technology. "We want to do for others what you did for us," Sarah explained, her eyes shining. Nathan felt a lump in his throat. This was why he had started New Horizons, not just to make money, but to create a cycle of opportunity and generosity. "This is wonderful, Sarah," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "You're going to change lives with this." As Sarah left, Nathan sat back in his chair, reflecting on the journey that had led him here. From a waiter struggling to make ends meet to an influential figure in the financial world. It had been an incredible ride, but more than the success or the wealth, it was moments like this, seeing the positive impact ripple outward, that made it all worthwhile. Nathan picked up his phone and dialed a familiar number. "Mr. Buffett? I think I have a story you'd like to hear." 5 years after the Langley trial, Nathan found himself in a familiar position sitting across from Warren Buffett. But this time, they were in a television studio, preparing for a joint interview on a major news network. "Nervous?" Buffett asked with a twinkle in his eye. Nathan chuckled. "A little. It's not every day you're interviewed alongside your hero." The interview began, covering Nathan's journey from a struggling waiter to a respected investor and philanthropist. The interviewer turned to Buffett. "Mr. Buffett, what made you decide to mentor Nathan?" Buffett smiled. "It wasn't just his honesty in returning my wallet. It was his potential to do good with the opportunities given to him. Nathan has exceeded every expectation." The interviewer nodded, then asked Nathan the question everyone had been waiting for. "How did all of this start?" Nathan's mind flashed back to that cold night when he found the wallet. He smiled and answered, with a lost wallet and a simple choice. As the interview concluded, the interviewer asked one final question. "Mr. Carter, what advice would you give to young people who want to follow in your footsteps?" Nathan thought for a moment. "Success isn't just about making money. It's about making a difference. Stay true to your values, work hard, and always remember that your choices shape not just your life, but the lives of others around you." After the interview, Buffett placed a hand on Nathan's shoulder. "You've come a long way, son. Your mother would be proud." Nathan felt tears welling up in his eyes. "Thank you, Mr. Buffett, for everything." 10 years had passed since Nathan's life-changing encounter with Warren Buffett. New Horizons had grown into one of the most respected investment funds in the country, known not just for its financial success, but for its commitment to ethical practices and social responsibility. Nathan stood at the podium, addressing a room full of eager young faces, the latest batch of scholarship recipients and entrepreneurs funded by New Horizons. "Each of you has a unique story," Nathan began. "Each of you has faced challenges and overcome obstacles to be here today. But you're not here because of luck. You're here because you made a choice to persevere, to work hard, and to believe in yourselves." He paused, looking out at the sea of hopeful faces. "Today, you're being given an opportunity. What you do with it is up to you. But remember, this true success isn't measured by the money you make, but by the lives you touch and the positive change you create in the world." As Nathan concluded his speech, the room erupted in applause. He stepped down from the podium, his heart full. This was his true legacy, not the wealth he had accumulated, but the opportunities he had created for others. Later that evening, Nathan received a call from James Morton, Warren Buffett's assistant. "Mr. Buffett watched the live stream of your speech," Morton said. "He wanted me to pass on a message." Nathan listened intently as Morton relayed Buffett's words. "Tell Nathan that he's not just made good investments, he's invested in goodness itself, and that always yields the highest returns. As Nathan ended the call, he walked to the window of his office, looking out at the city lights. He thought about the journey that had brought him here, the challenges, the triumphs, the lessons learned. It had all started with a simple act of honesty, but it had grown into something far greater, a testament to the power of integrity, hard work, and the belief that one person really could make a difference. Nathan smiled to himself. The adventure wasn't over. In fact, he realized it was just beginning.